Hi there and welcome to this video. We are two faculty members at Case Western Reserve University, and we're here to talk about some really unique opportunities for students that are interested in the arts. We have a variety of arts to offer on campus, and these are going to be open for all students, whether they're interested in majoring or minoring in our departments or just have a general interest in supporting the arts. My name is Jeffrey Ullum. I'm a faculty member in the Department of Theater.
And I'm Matthew Garrett, faculty member in the Department of Music.
So first of all, welcome to Case Western Reserve University. I'm going to talk a little bit about the theater department first, and the kind of program that we have and how we're open to the variety of students that come to campus. We are actually the second oldest department in the country after Yale University, and we have a long history of offering a wide variety of productions and offering different classes to satisfy the intellectual and artistic interests of the students that we serve. We are a BA program, so that means that we try to develop the artist and the scholar together. We have a wide range of interests in terms of acting, in terms of design, in terms of playwriting and history. And we are a small enough department, especially compared to some of the larger science departments on campus. We're smaller, but we see that as a benefit because that means that we know our students exceptionally well, but also in the fact that we can also attune what we're trying to teach and satisfy the various interests of our students as a result. We do a lot of independent studies, a lot of special projects, and also provide those students with a lot of responsibilities because they get to learn by doing on stage. We have a great mantra in our department that of casting freshmen when people first come to campus with the idea of how can you be great on stage as a senior if you're not on stage as a freshman. So there's a lot of opportunities from the minute you hit campus to get involved with our department. The level, and this is the same I would assume with the music department, the level is really up to, the level of involvement is up to you, and as long as you're very much aware of the amount of studies and time that you have to manage with your classes, we invite you to participate at whatever level you're comfortable with. For our department, we have a good number of faculty, and the fascinating aspect of our faculty is that they are all still involved in the professional level. Even on this slide, you can see the fellow up in the top corner who looks like he's in a big green muck. That's one of our acting faculty. It's actually a screenshot from him in Saving Private Ryan. Our faculty are directing and designing shows all around the country. We are still very much involved in the different trends professionally as what's going on, and we use these contexts to help assist our students so they can be very much aware of what the demands are of the profession, how to connect with other professionals. And we do not have any students who are graduate TAs. You are being taught by the exact same faculty that actually teach our MFA students, and they are working professionals, and so you're getting really the highest quality type of education that you can have. And our faculty, even though they're working professionally throughout the year, they nevertheless are dedicated to helping students achieve and become the best artist that they can be. We do a wide range of shows here, and first let me talk about the productions. We have a main stage season of 4 shows, and traditionally what we try to do is during a student's 4 years here on campus is we do a wide range of shows. For example, this coming year we're doing a Neil Simon play. First time we've done Neil Simon in the history of Eldred Theater, surprisingly. This also means we won't be doing any Neil Simon or contemporary comedy like this for another 5 or 6 years, so that the students get exposed to a wide range of shows that we're doing. That's for the community at large, but it's also seen as a challenge for our student actors and our student designers, so that they get exposed to a wide range of texts and the challenges that these different texts provide. We do four main stage shows. We're doing musicals. We usually alternate Shakespeare every other year. We have classic as well as contemporary. And depending upon the student's experience, we oftentimes have students design some of these shows. We have very much recently ramped up the design component of our major, and so we have students doing costume design or scenic design or lighting design, as we have 2 faculty that are designing professionally around the country. And so this also gives our students an opportunity to work with some directors that we bring in, but it also provides them a really interesting challenge and also helps their coursework. It counts as a SAGES capstone, which is a senior component, a senior activity that we provide them with. Well, and so with these productions, our students are incredibly busy. We work on a professional model in terms of how the rehearsal schedules are run. We are very cognizant of the fact that students have a lot of demands upon them academically, so we don't make you come to rehearsal and waste extra time there. We call you when you're needed, because as you will hear many of the arts programs say, it doesn't do us any good to have you come and spend all your time and then fail out of the university. We're very, very much aware and sensitive to the fact that the classes here at Case are going to be very challenging, and we want to make sure that you spend the appropriate amount of time on your studies. In addition to our main stage shows, we have aligned ourselves as within the department 2 student groups. One is Improvement, where they do improv shows every week. There's an audition process for that in the fall. They're a nationally renowned improv troupe. They used to win competitions every year as the best troupe in Ohio, and then they stopped making it a competition because they won every year. And so now it's an improv fest, but nevertheless they go and dominate. They are absolutely remarkable. And then we also have another group called PTG, Players Theater Group, which is done within our theater building in Eldred Theater. And they do about 6 shows a year, and it's a completely student-run group. So it's student-directed, student-designed, student-managed. It's funded by the department. But that's a way for students to get into, to try new areas, to explore. I always wanted to direct, I've always wanted to design, I've never tried acting. And it's a wonderful environment to go in and try and push yourself in new areas, and also to risk. Every great artist at some point in time has to risk. And the joy of doing educational theater, of doing music at the educational level, is that you are in a comfortable environment where you can also risk and not have great fear of failure. You learn a great amount from that experience. So therefore, we want to provide that in the Black Box. Our main stage shows are seen as an extension of the classroom, and so therefore you will be spending time, learning a lot about the craft just as well. But PTG is also a wonderful opportunity for that. And there's a lot of different areas that students can take classes in. The ones that you currently see listed are classes that are open to students who, whether they be majors or non-majors. Our major in itself is really fairly simple. We have a core set of classes, 2 acting classes, 2 design classes, 1 directing class, and then a series of history classes. And then beyond that, we want the student to be able to take whatever they so choose to satisfy the major. So they could come as an actor and then decide, I want to pursue directing, or I want to pursue playwriting, and they have the freedom to do that. But we also offer a series of classes. We have a lot of non-majors take our classes, and you can see on the screen the wide variety of classes that we have. So no matter what aspect you're interested in, acting, design, playwriting, or just general theater, these are classes that are available to you. We also have a wide range of classes that are in the 200 and 300 level that aren't even listed on here, like a James Bond class or a Topics and Design class. Areas where our faculty are really opening to the curriculum to teach classes that are more of their interest, that are more fine-tuned, but nevertheless, we are a university department. Unlike other departments, you don't have to necessarily audition to be a part of us. If you are an admitted student here, you are more than welcome to be a part of our department, and that's one of the easy requirements. So we always welcome everybody to come join us in our endeavors. This is kind of a stereotypical fall semester for an incoming major. This can easily change because I would say about 90% of our students are double majors. Double majoring is very common across the campus, and we wholly support it. And so there are sometimes, for example, the Introduction to Theater class students may not take that until their sophomore year if it happens to conflict with a science class that's needed for engineering or bio, whatever. But nevertheless, this is kind of an example. We have the Theater Practicum, which is a series of classes a student needs to take, which is just you're going to work on a show because we don't want people just to be solely focused on being an actor. Our philosophy of truly developing a well-rounded scholar and artist is that you need to be an expert, or at least be exposed to different areas. You're going to be a better actor if you understand directing. You're going to be a better director if you understand design. You're going to understand design better if you understand how to move on stage as an actor. And it all influences each other. So the practicum, it's 1 hour. It's a lot of fun. If you're casting a show, you can use that. That is the credit. And then we also want to make sure you're also pursuing your other interests in terms of the general requirements, as well as your other secondary major if you choose to have that. This is my contact information. I am the Director of Undergraduate Theater Studies. And so please feel free to contact me anytime with any questions that you may have. I'm always on campus. I like the students. I seem to be on email 24 hours a day. But that's not a problem. People in the arts, we get into educational theater because we want to work with students and be with students and help students. And so if you have any questions at all about what class might be appropriate, or you're thinking about majoring or minoring and you're not sure if it's going to work, come talk to me. We'll make it work. Usually, I'm not going to make a promise, but we will work with you to see what's possible. You will get that kind of individual attention because if you're interested in the arts, people in the arts want to support you and work with you because we have a shared kindred spirit. Not to get overly emotional or sensitive, but it's true. And we want to make sure that you further and satisfy that interest here at CASE. One other thing I do want to mention before I turn it over to my colleague is to talk about the dance department here. We have a wonderful dance department, and they have an interest that is primarily focused on modern type dance versus Broadway style dance or classical dance. But they offer a BA degree, and it's a wonderful program. They have a wonderful dance building over in Mather on the northern side of campus. And you can also minor in their field, and a lot of students take classes that are not majors. They just have an interest in dance, and they have a show every year called Matacall, the Mather Dance Collective, which is open and involves students that are not majors, but they were in some classes and did some dancing they wanted to perform. It's incredibly popular on campus. And so that Matacall is a wonderful experience to put on your resume if you just have a curiosity about dance. By all means, take a risk and get involved. And the dance department is a wonderful opportunity to do that. As you can see at the top, contact Karen Potter. She's a delightful person, and she will help you answer any questions that you may have about dance or different opportunities for students who are interested in dance. And now for music.
Thanks, Professor Ullum. You've heard quite a bit about the theater and the dance programs here at Case Western Reserve University, so I'd like to share with you a little bit of information now about the Department of Music. Similar to the theater and the dance programs, we offer options for all students here at the university. We have programs that are available for non-majors and majors alike. Primarily, we're looking at 3 different options. We've got a number of ensembles that you can participate in. Most of our ensembles are made up of non-majors, so it's a great experience to get in there and meet people. The second set of options available is for music minor, which is a limited number of credits, but still gets your feet wet in a formal study of music. And then the third option is a more formal category where you're deciding that you're going to pick one of our 2 majors within the department and formalize that study towards a degree program. The main building that you see here on the slide is Hayden Hall. It's where our offices are located, as well as our library on the 1st floor. Our main office is on the 2nd floor in room 201. And Hayden actually has an interesting history. It was originally a dormitory and had some classrooms in it, and is named after not Haydn, the composer, even though it's spelled that way. It's named after Hiram Hayden, who was the 5th president of the university, the Western Reserve University, that is. So why don't we talk a little bit about the options that are available to students, starting with majors. So if you're interested in majoring in music, unlike theater and dance, there is an audition required for the major. We have 2 options. You can do a Bachelor of Arts in Music, which is a general approach to music, and then a Bachelor of Science in Music Education. At this point, if you haven't already submitted a video audition through the Arts Supplement, then you can contact Professor Eric Charnowski. You'll see his email address there on the screen, and he'd be happy to help schedule an audition for you, either for the start of the semester or maybe in the spring as well. Everybody coming into the major will be taking a music theory diagnostic exam, and that happens usually during the orientation week. Let's take a look at some of the classes that you'll be taking if you decide to and you're accepted to major. For both the Bachelor of Arts students and the Bachelor of Science students, this is a typical first semester that you're looking at. You'd have lessons and recital class, which is a gathering where everybody meets once a week and performs throughout the course of the semester. Music theory, you'd start that sequence as well, and that would last for a two-year sequence depending upon where you're placed based on that exam. Eurythmics, which is a music and movements type of a course that's offered through our partner institution, the Cleveland Institute of Music. And that class actually satisfies physical education credit as part of the general ed requirements here at the university. And then ensembles, 1 or 2, and those can be registered for 0 credit and up to 1 credit hour, depending upon where you are with your course load. Our BS Music Ed students would then take an additional course, Basic Skills in Pedagogy, and those vary. There are woodwinds classes, there are brass classes, guitar class, and voice class, and you work on those as you go through the degree program. You would start one of those particular classes your first semester here on campus as a Bachelor of Science Music Ed student. Additional information, well, we've got these other three opportunities that are available for both majors and non-majors, as I mentioned. Ensembles, you can see the website there will take you to a list of ensembles. We've got a variety of them I'll talk about a little bit more in a second. Private lessons, applied study, if you wanted to take voice lessons, or you wanted to take lessons on trumpet, or you wanted to take piano lessons, those are available as well, and you can contact the department directly at the email that you see there. The person that you'll be speaking with through that email or correspondence is down at the bottom of the slide, Jennifer Wright. She's our department coordinator, and her main office, again, is on the second floor of Hayden Hall, room 201, right at the top of the stairs. The other option that's available in terms of formal study is our minor, and you can see the link to the website there as well to look at the requirements for that particular program. If you don't want to major in music, then you still have many options to be involved in the department. One is the music minor program, which I mentioned earlier. There are a variety of courses that are available to you as a non-major that you can take for formal study. Mentioned lessons a minute ago, and then finally ensembles. And I mentioned that a couple of times. Again, lots of different groups that are available to you as a non-major. And the majority of the folks that are performing in our ensembles are, in fact, non-majors. The music minor that I mentioned earlier consists of 15 credit hours, and that can be done at any point in your time here at the university. You could start that your freshman semester, you could wait until your sophomore or junior semester. It's a relatively low number of credit hours and provides you with some flexibility to study music in a formal way. You've got 6 credits of music theory that you'll take. There's a specific sequence for that. 6 credits of music history or appreciation, and then electives that you take to finish out the minor. And those can actually include lessons, although there's a separate fee involved for that. I'll detail that in a second. And then ensembles can also count towards that 15 credit hours for the minor. The different courses that are available for non-majors and minors are listed here. You can see at the top, we look at the 2 theory classes that are available. You've also got music appreciation or general music classes like 201, Introduction to Music, which is a survey type of class that goes through different time periods in history and relates what's going on in those histories to cultural events around the globe. You've got History of Rock and Roll and History and Styles of Jazz are our 2 other music history and appreciation classes. And those are taught on different cycles, so they're not always offered, but they'll more than likely be available to you while you're here as a student at the university. The digital music class, MUGN 308, is taught in the basement of Hayden Hall in what we call the core. It's an all-Mac lab. I'll detail that a little bit later. But that's a great class to get involved with if you're particularly interested in the technical side of music, notation, synthesis, those kinds of things. World Music and Education is taught as part of our music education course sequence for our majors, but it's also available to non-majors and gives you a real worldwide look at what's going on in different cultures around the globe, specifically with the way that they celebrate and perform music. Jazz Skills is another one of our offerings that's specifically focused more towards arranging and theory, hence the MUTH title. And then, of course, we've got several folks around the university, including our faculty, who are teaching SAGES classes with specific topics related to music. And those vary, again, as you go through, from first-year seminars through the university seminars. There are also 200-level music education courses that are open to non-majors and 300-level music history courses that, again, rotate. Some of them include history classes on blues and rock. Some of them go into more detailed things like the Baroque period, and those vary as faculty are available to teach them. So I talked about lessons that were available for our non-majors, and that includes our minors. All of our applied lessons are taught through our partner institution, the Cleveland Institute of Music, which is just off of our main campus here. And again, they are available to non-majors and minors, but you pay what we call an applied music fee. Again, majors don't pay any additional fee for their lessons. But if you are a minor, if you're minoring in music and you want to take these lessons, or if you just want to take lessons to kind of build up your skill set while you're here on campus, then it's a $750 fee per semester for 1 credit, and that's half-hour lessons on a weekly basis. And if you wanted an hour lesson on a weekly basis, that would be $1,500 per semester, and that's a 2 credit hour course load. In addition to the lessons, we also have the ensembles, and I mentioned earlier that there's a variety. They range in size from large groups, large symphonic band groups, large choral ensembles, to very small chamber groups and small percussion groups. Again, a variety of things from vocal to instrumental. Almost all of our ensembles have some kind of audition process to kind of help us get started at the beginning of the year, and they happen in one of two ways. There are what we call gateway auditions, and those are things that you go into, and that helps to determine whether or not you're going to be able to perform in a particular ensemble. For example, if you'd really like to perform in the Case Concert Choir, which is our audition choir, there is an audition required for that group. It is a competitive audition depending upon the number of slots that we have available, and the folks that are accepted then are able to register and participate in that ensemble for the course of the semester. If you don't pass the audition that particular semester, there are other options available, and always encourage folks to come back and re-audition. Auditions are held at the beginning of every semester, typically, again, during that first week of classes. Placement auditions are a little bit different. That's primarily what goes on with the bands and the orchestras, and the fact that there's a variety of instruments available on campus, and our directors just want to make sure that you're placed in the ensemble that's going to best fit your schedule and best fit the needs of the ensembles within the department. Again, all those auditions take place during the first week of classes, and you can check our website out, music.case.edu, for information about those auditions throughout the summer. They'll be updated as those are available. I did mention that we have a variety of ensembles, and here you've got a pretty representative list. Again, this information is available on our website, but you can see at the top left-hand corner we start out with different wind ensembles. The Symphonic Winds is a large band ensemble that my colleague Dr. Seepluck directs. University Wind Ensemble is a select ensemble that is comprised of students at the university and over at the Cleveland Institute of Music. We've got different orchestra programs available, directed by my colleague Dr. Kathleen Horvath. The Case University Circle Symphony Orchestra is our large orchestral ensemble with a composite of strings and winds. And then the Camerata Chamber Orchestra is primarily a string ensemble, and that's directed by my colleague Dr. David Pope. There's also opportunities for string and piano chamber music and other small chamber music ensembles, and again, those opportunities are all presented on our website, and auditions for all of these groups are available during that first week of classes. Smaller ensembles like the percussion ensemble are also available. They don't meet as often during the week, and that may be something that draws you into those groups. We have two fantastic jazz ensembles directed by Professor Paul Ferguson, who's a jazz legend here in Cleveland. It's a great experience to be able to work with him and the other students in those groups. Our popular music ensemble, pop rock ensemble is probably a more apropos title for that, is a group that performs both on and off campus throughout the course of the semesters. The Marching Spartans is our marching band, and that's an ensemble that's available obviously in the fall during our football season, and a special note about that is participating in that particular ensemble will earn you physical education credit. At the top right-hand column there, you see we've got our two ensembles for the choral end of things. Case Concert Choir is the group that I direct. That's our audition ensemble. University Singers is our non-audition ensemble directed by Dr. Lisa Hansen, one of our retired high school directors here in the Cleveland area. The last set of ensembles here in the lower right-hand corner all deal with our fantastic historic performance practice program. We've got an internationally renowned faculty that works with students in graduate programs and with these ensembles. Early Music Singers is our a cappella choir that works on music of the medieval period and Renaissance. Collegium Musicum is our ensemble that's the instrumental counterpart to that choir. And then we've got Baroque ensembles with an orchestra, chamber ensembles, and a dance ensembles. A special note about these Baroque groups, you don't have to know how to play period instruments, and you don't have to know how to move around in the fashion of 18th century dance to participate in these groups. It's all taught from scratch at the start of every semester and every year, and it's a great way to experience something from a different time period. Our Department of Music has different affiliations throughout the Cleveland area and here on campus in the University Circle area, and one of those in the greater Cleveland area is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame downtown. We have a Center for Popular Music Studies where a lot of graduate students are working on research and looking into different issues related to things from music associated with animation all the way up through the late Prince or any other kind of pop groups that you might hear, or pop artists that you might hear. Our Department of Music also has our pop and rock ensemble that I mentioned earlier, and that group performs in different clubs around the area as well as on campus from time to time. We also have an affiliation with the Severance Hall, which is home to the Cleveland Orchestra. Our large winds there, you see symphonic winds often perform in there, and the spring semester in particular with our larger groups, and also in collaboration with the Cleveland Youth Wind Symphony, another organization here in town directed by Dr. Gary Seepluck. You see here our University Symphony Orchestra, directed by Dr. Kathleen Horvath, I mentioned before. They're performing in this particular slide in Kulas Hall, which is one of the halls over at the Cleveland Institute of Music. And again, you'll see quite a bit of crossover from students here at CWRU and CIM in terms of taking classes and performing and doing different things from one campus to the next. The Excelsior Ballroom that you're looking at now is part of our Twing Student Center, and we often use this in December of every year for a big windy and jazzy concert. It's kind of a pop-style concert where we have tables set up and you can come in and hear the symphonic winds play a variety of contemporary music and arrangements. And we also have the opportunity to hear our jazz ensembles at that particular event as well. This particular building is located just in front of the Tinkham-Veal University Center, which is the more modern of the two kind of centers here on our campus in the middle of campus. Also adjacent to campus, right behind Hayden Hall, is the Church of the Covenant. And here you can see an interior of the sanctuary of that building. We use and are available to perform in this space for major choral orchestral works primarily. Several years ago, the church invested quite a bit in terms of a major renovation for both the structure of the building and to improve the acoustics in the space. And it has created a fantastic environment, again, for larger choral orchestral ensembles to be available to go in there and perform. The next slide is a picture of one of our groups, or several of our groups actually, performing in the space. This is our concert choir, our University Symphony Orchestra performing in there, and we usually do these collaborations every spring. This past spring, our most recent collaboration featured the Duruflé Requiem. One of our other places here on campus where we perform and also teach several of our classes within the department is the Harkness Chapel. This is a gorgeous building on the inside as well as the outside. The windows that you see there are actually Tiffany windows. Tiffany had a studio here in Cleveland back at the turn of the 20th century, and it was a great opportunity to have some of that artwork, living artwork per se, featured in our buildings on campus. The classroom space inside is where we hold several of our larger classrooms, including some of our music history courses, and this gives you a sample of what that looks like. In the next several slides, you'll see what the inside of the chapel itself looks like. This is the Case Camerata Orchestra I mentioned, the string ensemble, and one of their concerts in the chapel. Here you see two of our early ensembles, Collegium Musicum, which is our instrumental ensemble dealing with Renaissance and medieval music on the left, and Early Music Singers, which is our choral ensemble related in those periods on the right. I mentioned our Baroque Orchestra. The students that you see performing again, not many of them had any experience working on period instruments or instruments that would have been built and used during the Baroque and earlier periods. And so this is them performing and being coached by Ton Koopman. Because of the international relationship that our faculty have around the globe, we get to work with fantastic conductors. Professor Koopman is also associated with the Amsterdam Baroque and an internationally renowned conductor. So it's a great opportunity to have folks like that come in and work with our students. The jazz ensembles that I mentioned, you see on the left, they're performing at Harkness Chapel here on campus, and on the right, just off campus at Nighttown Restaurant and Club. And again, what a great opportunity to work with one of our great performers and educators here in the area, Professor Paul Ferguson. We talked about getting into the techie side of things. This is a picture of our core in the basement of Hayden Hall. It's an all-Mac computer lab. There are notation software packages available, synthesis software packages. You can see each station has a MIDI keyboard for input, and this space is open to all students on campus. You don't have to be taking a class here in the department. You can come in and use the software and the equipment as the facility is open throughout the semester. Our orchestras and our bands rehearse on a regular basis closer to the north side of campus near the dorms in the Dennison Wade rehearsal facility that you see here. It's just directly across from the athletic fields. And speaking of the athletic fields, here you get a glimpse of what that looks like with our marching Spartans alive and well there in that photo. One of the great things about this ensemble, again, is that it's open to all students. It provides you with physical education credit should you choose to participate. And perhaps even more interesting is that we're getting brand new uniforms this fall, so an exciting time for the Marching Spartans. If you forgot your instrument and you left your sousaphone at home, it just wouldn't fit in your car, no problem. You can see us to borrow those instruments for the course of the semester. We have those available to students. There are also a number of non-departmental groups that are on campus available to you to participate in, and these don't necessarily have any ties to course credits. It's just an opportunity for you to get involved with the performing arts, another way for you to get involved with the performing arts here on campus. There are a number of groups. These are just 4 that we have featured on the slide. You've got the Case Men's Glee Club, which is the longest actively operating student organization here on the campus, founded back in the 1800s. In the lower left-hand corner, Case in Point, one of our other a cappella groups. It's a mixed group, soprano, alto, tenor, bass. The lower right-hand corner, Dam A Cappella, which is a South Asian fusion a cappella group. And in the top right-hand corner, Footlighters. Every semester we have a fully run from the musical end, run from the staging end, run from the organizational end, music theater troupe. And they put on a production, like I mentioned, every semester. So whether you're participating in department ensembles or you're participating in one of our student-run groups, there's opportunities out there for you. This past year we had a very exciting thing come up for the performing arts, and that was the opening of the first part of the new Maltz Performing Arts Center here on our campus. It's one of the newest facilities for the performing arts, and the concert hall was just opened, like I mentioned, this past year. The building was originally built in 1924 as a temple. It became part of the National Register of Historic Places in 1974 and was just renovated over the past year for use by our performing arts facilities, our performing arts organizations, as well as the temple community, the Jewish community here in Greater Cleveland. Inside the facility, as it's open now, is a 1,200-seat hall named Silver Hall, and this will be used for large ensembles and university events. There's also a smaller recital hall available, and we are now in the planning stages for looking at a phase 2 of the facility where we'll be incorporating separate facilities specifically for music, theater, and dance. So looking forward to the development of that project. The next slide that you see here is one of our choral collaborations that we do with an area high school. This features Case Concert Choir, University Singers, the Case Men's Glee Club, and then special guests from Lakewood High School. And as you can see, it's just a fantastic facility to be in. Those are just several of the options that are available through the department. Again, you don't have to be a major. If you want formal study, you can go the route of minoring for the 15 credit hours or look at one of the majors, either the Bachelor of Arts or the Bachelor of Science in Music Education. If you have any questions about our programs or opportunities in the Department of Music, there's a variety of ways to get in touch with us. You can see there our website. The email address there will again go to our department administrator, Ms. Jennifer Wright. You can also contact Professor Eric Charnowski if you're interested in the major, or you can always speak to me at the email address of chorus@case.edu, and hopefully you won't forget that through all of this orientation process. We look forward to seeing you and hearing you this fall, and certainly look forward to welcoming you to campus.
Please come find us, take our classes, get involved. College is such a unique time, and it's going to be one of the rare times in your life when you can try new things before you go out and pick a career or profession. But taking a class in music will provide you a lifelong appreciation for listening to music your entire life. Taking a theater class will help you with public speaking and a whole wide variety of classes. Our students have double majored, gone on to med school in a wide range, in addition to majoring in our specific fields. But we highly encourage you to branch out, try something different, and get involved. You'll meet people of wide interests in our majors.
That's for certain.
And they have a passion. You come together, you have a kinship, you explore, you find out who you are in addition to what your talents are, where your passions lie. And that's really one of the great things about doing the arts at the education level in college. It really is a unique opportunity. I highly encourage you to take advantage of the opportunities that we have here in all of our departments.